Quick mods. I have these Phantasy Star Online saves I'd like to transfer to my PC to emulate in XEMU for testing online compatibility through Insignia, but apparently, along with disabling the ability to transfer them to a memory unit easily in the first place, they've managed to lock them down with information stored in them from the EEPROM. So we're going to go ahead and copy the saves in the subfolder 4D53004A from our UData directory. Just a preference, but I put mine in the working folder to make things easier on myself throughout the process. We'll be using xsavesig to accomplish this, however there are a few things we have to change in the configuration files beforehand. For starters, as described on the console mods page, we're going to have to look for the line in the resign config file that says no roam equals 1. And change it to sigtype equals no roam instead. Open this up in any old text program. Most will support hotkeys, and in this case hit Ctrl F, then type PSO, then hit enter to find it with much ease. Now for actually changing the credentials to that of our console so it can recognize the save. For this we'll need the hard drive key. There are many different ways to acquire this, such as config magic and copying your EEPROM over and loading it into LiveInfo, but this time around we'll be using what was already included in the SirBIOS BDM installer, which is EEPROM Backup by Rocky5, which makes the process seamless and also extracts the key separately into a text document. Now in this demonstration I'll be using Fat Explorer to load my emulator's hard drive image to overwrite my old save that came up as corrupt. If you're planning on just transferring to another console, obviously you could just use FTP instead. Next we'll want to copy the hard drive key we acquired and paste it into the XBHDD key document. That completes the setup portion of the program itself, but now it's time to actually reassign our saves to a different console. Inside the Xbox Game Save Resigner, we'll first have to type agree in capital letters to proceed. Now we can choose PSO from the drop-down menu and begin resigning our files one by one. We'll have to do this with every file within that folder, starting with PSO_ while discarding the save meta file, which is just a save identifier that can be opened in a hex editor to show the name of the game that the save corresponds to. Once this is done, overwrite the save folder and that's all there is to it. Now keep in mind these are still signed to the Xbox Live profile that they were created with, so you'll have to have that profile on your console to use these saves. I've tried a few different ways around this unsuccessfully, such as hex editing, but I've accomplished all that I've set out to figure out, so that's good enough for me at this point. I searched all over for information on this subject but found it a bit difficult without a bit of digging and trial and error, so I thought I'd share my results to make things a little easier on everyone else actually interested in playing the game. So hopefully this helps anyone who is curious about the same thing, and perhaps you'll see old Gyno Snake around ever so often.